Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Father's Note, where we promote fathers or fatherhood, shall I say, through building men. I am your host, Lionel Nelson.
And I'm his co-host, Sherella Nelson. Good
Oh, you
evening.
hold on, your mic seems a little low.
I'm Lo-
Do you hear you?
I hear.
Okay, say it again. Say something nice to everybody so I can get your mic right here.
Good evening, family.
All right. Okay. So hey, we're gonna do this here. Uh, Let me know if y'all here, okay? Okay, hey, listen again. We're here on YouTube. We're transferring all of our views from our Facebook Live to our YouTube Live broadcast, okay? So I know it may take a little time for everyone to get accustomed to the transition, but this is a move that we felt that it's a time now for us to meet. As a lot of you know, okay, let's see here. Okay, they're telling me to bring your mic up. Yeah. Try it again.
Can you hear
Okay.
me?
I don't
Can you
know.
all hear me out there?
Barely. I can see it now from here. That's okay. Um, I tell you what. Well, we got to see what's happening here. We got a little difficulty, some technical issues here with mics. Yeah, they're saying you're still very low. So guess what? We're just gonna have to share mics, baby. Okay. We're gonna
Okay.
make this happen.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna make this happen. So maybe we'll do it this way. Okay. So make sure you
Tune in. Get close.
get close.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, these things happen. You know that they happen when it comes to um, technical issues. We don't know what's going on here, but nevertheless, so we're going to continue to move forward. Uh, so let me try something here real quick here.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we got a little mic issue going on here, but we're going to do our best with it for right now. So anyway, well, while we're here, what we want to do is we just want to make a couple of real quick announcements here. And first of all, we want to acknowledge some books here. Since we've been talking about love and marriage and relationship, love and marriage and relationships, and we've been inviting different couples on. We know that at a lot of times that there are some things that take place, okay, in marriages, things that's unforeseen, some things that where people are not really prepared for. But here, what we have a couple of books that may help you. And
Mhm.
one of the books is that was written by a very dear friend of ours. How about talk about this book, sweetie?
This book is entitled Just Between Us Girls, and it's by one of our very close friends, very dear to us, Mrs. Dominique Dumerville. And it's just a lovely book. It's a great read, a
Hmm.
easy read, and she gives so many tips and strategies on how to improve your marriage, how to if you're in waiting, she gives you tips on what to do while
Right.
waiting. I
Hmm.
mean, it's amazing. So you all really want to purchase that one, give us a call or give him a DM message
Yeah.
and we'll make that connection happen.
You can reach, let's see here. You can call this number, and we'll definitely see to it that you get a copy of this book. Okay. All right. So we have that book there, and then also we have another book here entitled "Diary of a Virtuous Wife." How? Let's see. What's the title again? Let me see here. How to win with how to live with infidelity and win doing it God's way. We know that at times there are definitely relationships whereas that infidelity occur, and but this is a good book that was lived, that someone who lived through it,
Mhm.
and they still managed to overcome and still managed to obtain victory in their relationship. I'm gonna pause. I want to try something else with your mic here. I want to see if I can, so we can get you changed up here. Let me try something else here. That's we don't know what's going on. We did have a little issue with our. I'm not trying to put all our business out of here, but it is what has happened. But things happen. All right, try that, pig.
It's just a microphone.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Is
That's
that better?
way better.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, way better.
So it's just the setting was off.
Something is off. I don't know what it is. But anyway, I guess we good now. All right. Anyway. Okay, so let's continue going. I do apologize for that delay there, you all. Yeah, but these are great books. So we just want to promote those books. I did want to say this here that some of you may be wondering, well, what is a father's note about? All right. And of course, you've been seeing my wife on the set with us because when we started out just basically interviewing men and talking about fathers and that type of relationship that going there. So, but yet still though, even though it's still what we're doing with our love and marriage series is still related to fathers because number one, you cannot become a father until you should not rather, become a
Exactly.
husband. And then you got to create a relationship because even marriages can affect fatherhood, if I can say that. So we just definitely want to point that out. But I wanted to put this up because I wanted to share this here with everyone. It says that I just want to point out, that fatherhood, this is not a male bashing segment. We're here at AFM believe in providing an equal platform for both male, female, man, woman, husband, wife, father, mother, and child for the perfecting of fatherhood. Okay. That's why we do what we do. That's the whole purpose of where we at. Even when we started the Father's Note, yeah, it was geared toward fathers. Nevertheless, we began to realize that their fatherhood is connected to so many other components when it comes down to relationships. You got anything you want to add to that, sweetie?
No, you said it all.
I said it all. Okay. Well, let's get into our show for tonight. We have a very fine couple with us tonight that we've known for a couple of years now. And I tell you, from day one, from the very first time that we met them, we've come to really fall in love with them because they're such great people and
Beautiful couple.
beautiful couple. They family, y'all. Not literally by blood, but they family. So,
Correct.
I thank God for them. But without any further ado, we want to welcome the Hodges. Hello, Hodges.
Hi. Everybody. Hi, everybody.
All right. Yeah, yeah. Hey, listen, we finally got you back on here again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I'll tell you, I cannot say enough about you all. But I want you all and I want the viewing audience to really get to know you all. And I'm sure that you all have some very, 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 very wholesome good nuggets that's
some great wisdom.
yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, we thank you so much for your again, you being on the show. So hey, we want to start this first of all, since we're talking about love and marriage. Well, my wife like to ask what's the question you want to ask them? Your favorite question. What is it?
What or let me put it this way: how did this beautiful union come about?
Yeah.
That's a story in itself.
Come on, we want to hear it.
Well, good evening, everybody. Well, those of you that know me know I'm the talker in the family. So I'll take that question. Mr. Hodges and I actually met as basically as teenagers. I was 14 years old. We moved in next door to his aunt. And one day just hanging out in my bedroom window like I like to do. I saw this young man pull up in this car and he got out with his football uniform on and an afro out to here. And I was like, oh, who is that? And so I went to my stepmother and I said, I just saw this young man pull up at Miss Ernestine's house next door. He's got this big old fro. Who is that, Mom? And she said, that's her nephew. His name is Lamar.
Uh-huh.
And I said, oh. So I made it my business to be in that window. So I could, right? So I spent a lot of time standing in that window. And sure enough, he pulls back up a couple days later. And I go, psst, psst. And
Through the window, huh?
In the window. He's looking around, bruh, trying to figure out where that sound is coming from. And I said, right here, I'm in the window. And he looks at me and he goes, hi. And I said, hi. He said, my name's Lamar. I said, I'm Regina. And he said, oh, okay, nice to meet you. And that's how we started. Now, I'm a PK.
Okay, but hold on though. How old were you at the time?
I was 14.
14.
14.
I was 14 years old.
When you set eyes on him, huh?
When I set eyes on him.
Wow.
And you were 15, Mr. Hodges?
Yes. And I wasn't allowed to date, so we would have these little rendezvous at the window. With him standing in his auntie's under her carport, and he in my window because my yard was fenced, so he couldn't get to the window.
Right.
Because I was in a fenced yard, but we spent time talking, getting to know each other at the window.
Wow.
That's how it started.
So let me ask you this though: what was that first conversation like though? I mean, when you really started, let's say, because as you say, you're the talker. But I'm curious, Mr. Hodges. You know, what were some of the lines you was dropping on Mrs. Hodges?
Well, first of all, and even to this day, I guess I call her. I have this little nickname for her, Sunshine. As you can see, that bright smile. That's and just seeing that smile just kind of made my day. I would start making excuses to go to Aunt Teen's house. The first time I went over with my sister, is younger than me, and she would be at my aunt's house, and my mom sent me to pick her up, and plus she sent me to pick up some other stuff. So that's when the cat call, if you will, came about.
You call it a cat call.
Maybe appropriate word, but anyway, so once I got to know her, she was very warm, very giddy, talkative to say the least.
Right.
She did a lot of the talking.
And
she introduced herself to me, and from there, I was smitten. I was bitten, and I just.
Let me tell you how smitten he was.
Lay it on us.
Because my daddy was pastoring at the time.
Okay.
I walk in church one Sunday, and I'm coming up the aisle because I sang in the choir. So back then, the church we were in didn't have back doors and side doors.
Right.
We had to come in through the front. So I'm walking up the aisle, and I walk past this young man sitting on the pew, but he had his head down.
Mm-hmm.
And so I walk on up to the choir stand, and by the time I get to the choir stand and take my seat, he done looked up and realized it was me. And let me tell you the running joke. He said all he saw was a pair of legs. And he kept his eyes, and he teased me today about he loves my legs, sis. He said, I had my head down, just not doing anything, and I saw these legs walk by me, and he said, ooh, nice looking legs. He didn't realize they were my legs. So he had never fully seen me.
Right.
In the window.
Right.
So he said when he finally looked up, he followed me all the way to the choir. When he looked up, there was my face. He said, that's that girl in the window. That's that girl in the window. He started coming to the church.
So he finally got a full body picture of what you look like, huh? No more headshots, huh?
Yeah.
I was really struck then.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's how we met, in the window.
So you met in your teens, right? Now both of you, I guess you're over 60, right?
Yes.
So we're talking maybe 50 years ago or so, right?
Yeah.
So how did you all become a married couple? What transpired? Because I for what I know, there was some time that had lasted between You
Right,
going each other. So let me ask this question: how long did y'all date? Did you do any
Well,
dating?
we went to the same high school. Lamar was a couple of years ahead of me. So at this point, this was a ninth grade or 10th grade when we met. So his senior year in school, he went back to Georgia to
Oh,
live with
okay,
his father so he
okay,
could graduate from the school he had originally started,
right.
which that started the separation for us because I still had another year of school to go when he
Mm-hmm.
left.
Okay.
And of course, when he graduated, he went to college. About a year later, I graduated. I went into the military. And
Right.
so our lives just
So you
drifted.
lost track of each other from there.
We kind of lost track of each other. And
Okay.
then I graduated in 74.
Mm-hmm.
So he married, I married. We both married, had children and whatnot. But I always kept in touch with his mom. I loved his
Okay.
mother.
Okay.
Loved his mother. So whenever I would go back to our hometown to visit, I'd make sure I go by and see his mom. And I would ask about him. And she would never offer up any real information, sis. I'll say, how's Lamar? She said, oh, he's doing fine, baby. And when I tell him I said hi. And I did that almost every year I would go
Right.
home.
Right.
And in 2000, well, I'm sorry.
And here's the thing. I knew that because our parents were very close. Like she said, her dad was a pastor of the church, and her stepmother and my aunt were very close friends. So I knew she would come home, and I would, every time I call home, I would always ask my mom, "Have you seen Regina? Has Regina been around?"
Right.
Wow.
Wow.
And I mean, she was just always. I say to this day, she was just always a part of me. I would always ask my mom. So
I was going to say always in your heart.
Yes. So in 2003, I did see him because his mother ended up getting married. I forget what year it was. And I happened to be home that weekend and he was there at the wedding with his current wife at the time. And I saw him and it was just, it was cordial. It was casual. Hey, how you doing? I met her. She met me and we laughed, we talked. And then, we went our way.
Right.
And then in 2003, my father passed away. And I went back home to take care of that and bury my dad. And when I walked into my stepmother's house, she was on the phone with his mother. Okay. And she must have just asked about me, sis, because my mom said, she just walked in.
Wow.
And she handed me the phone. And I spoke to her. Hello, how you doing? She said, I'm sorry to hear about your dad. And of course, as always, I said, how is Lamar? And she said, oh, baby, he's fine. I said, tell him I said hello. She said, I will. And I tell y'all, now, mind you, this was 2003, February of 2003. A few hours later, I went to my little sister's house and I was up there and the phone call came through and it was one of my brothers. And he said, hey, somebody just called here looking for you. I said, who? He said, some dude named Lamar. And he said, who is that? I said, oh, that's Miss Mary's son. Well, he left his number. You want it?
Sally, he had a little tune. You tell him big brother.
Because this was a younger child who didn't grow up. There's 10 of us. So we got 2 sets of kids.
Right.
So this was in the younger group that didn't know anything about Lamar.
Right.
So I said, yeah, give me the number. So he gave me the number and I called and he answered the phone. Hey, how you doing? I'm good. I said, your mom told me that she gave you my number. He said, yeah, I'm sorry to hear about your dad. I said, thank you. And then we small talk. And he asked me, where do you live? I said, in Alabama. And I said, where are you? He said, Atlanta. I said, oh, your mom didn't tell me that. And he said, you married? And I said, well, actually, I'm divorced. He said, oh. I said, are you married? He said, I'm actually divorced 5 years now. I said, wow. Your mama didn't tell me none of that. And he said, do you have children? I said, yes, I have 3 grown. What about you? He said, I have 1 grown son and 2 sons I've raised. I was like, oh, cool. He said, well, you know what? Alabama ain't but about 3.5, 4-hour ride from here. Do you mind if I come see you? I haven't seen you so long. I said, absolutely. Absolutely. So after the funeral, when I got back home, he flew over. I picked him up.
Right.
I picked him up. Now remember, now this dude wore the baddest afro when we was in school. I'm talking about.
Okay.
I kid you not. I can show you a picture.
Uh-huh.
And so I picked him up from the airport. He said, "I'm gonna be standing in the medium right there." I saw this guy standing there, and he had on his leather coat because it was cold.
Yeah.
And I honked my horn, and it was him. He got in the car and he pulled that cap off. I said, "Ow! Where's my afro? Wait a minute, devil." And I tell you guys, long story short, I introduced him to my pastor. I said, "My pastor got to lay eyes on you.
Right.
I need him to discern some things because I done been to hell a couple times and back in relationships. I just can't go through nothing." He said, "I don't mind." And the man of God laid eyes on this man.
Uh-huh.
And you see my head down. This our pastor was listening to him talk.
Yeah.
He said, "Lamar, tell me some things about yourself." And Lamar was talking, the pastor was looking at it. And I know what this means. I've been in his membership long enough. He picking up some stuff.
Uh-huh.
And when Lamar got through talking, he crossed his hands over his chest.
Uh-huh.
And he looked at me. He said, "Sis, yeah."
Like that's the one.
That was it, huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And 6 months later,
Right.
we were married.
Wow.
We didn't need to court. We didn't need to do any of that. We knew that this was divinely appointed at that time by God. And so Pastor said, "Don't let no grass grow under your feet. Don't give the devil don't give the devil." Can y'all see this? You see this?
Yes.
Wow.
You see that? Look at it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
See it. Look at it.
Hold on, let me
Look at that.
Wow.
check it out.
Yes, sir.
Right. Look like somebody belong with the OJs or Temptations or something.
Say that, or the Delphonics, or the Temptations.
Yeah.
So, we got married, and bless God, it's been 20 years this year. We celebrate 20 years.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Never been
That's
separated. None of that. We never. Divorce was just not an option.
Right.
And I want to say to the listeners out there, because a lot of people that know us intimately, they say we give them marriage goals. But I want to tell you, it's work.
It's work.
It's work, and you have to. I try to style marriage like a garden. For those of you that are gardeners, you go out there, you turn that soil over, you prepare that soil for the seed. You got to prepare the soil for the seed. But once you put that seed in the ground, you can't just walk away and leave it.
Right.
Correct.
Right. That's good.
Right?
You got the water.
That's right.
You got to water. You got to make sure to keep the weeds out. You got to go out there and nurture it and pull out all the stuff. And that's what marriage is. And a lot of young folks nowadays, they don't want to do that.
They don't want to put the work in.
They don't want to put the work in.
Yeah.
I was just telling somebody on my way back to the house. I was telling that young man that he's single, and he was asking me. I was telling him about the program, and he was asking me, "How did y'all do it?" I said, "Listen, it was work,
Right?
But it was worth it. It was worth it. God first, God centered, God in the center of this.
Yes.
And those tough times we've had some tough times. Finances pull a marriage apart. Sometimes it ain't always just infidelity that tears it up.
Right.
The Bible says it's the little foxes that destroy the vine.
Right.
Don't know how to talk to each other. Don't know how to respect one another. Don't know how to communicate with each other what you need and what you want. And that lack of concern and care. And so God had to teach me how to be a wife to him. Because I've been used to being and fighting for myself. All my life, I was like The Color Purple before that movie came out. All my life.
That leads me to the question I want to ask. This is a question for Mr. Hodges, though, because as we all know, you're pretty much the front person of your marriage, and you're very outspoken. But Mr. Hodges, and we know that Mr. Hodges is a very laid back gentleman. How being married to Regina Hodges, Mr. Lamar, what strategies or what was the one thing you had to learn about her that you realized that you had to adjust in order because the marriage to work? Because a lot of times, yeah, love is good. But sometimes love fade a little bit, and then you got to remind yourself of some things, or this is good or that is good. But sometimes there's some things that can occur in a relationship or in a marriage, especially once you start commingling with one another, cohabitating with one another. That dang, I ain't know it was like that. Yeah. So then, what was those things you had? Would you say that you learned that you had to learn about her in order for? I'm going to say it this way: you to get along with her.
Okay, the first thing I learned was that I really needed God.
Tell us why.
Well, as you say, she's very, for lack of a better word, she has a very aggressive nature. In other words, if she wants something, she wants it, and she's not afraid to go after it. One of the things I do love about her, she's hardworking. She's gonna give her very best to whatever it is she sets her mind to, and she's not gonna let too many things or too many people get in the way of getting what she wants. And as you said, I'm more the laid back kind, and so I had to come to the knowledge and the understanding that, okay, this is who she is. This is who I am. So if we're going to cohabitate and have a good marriage, because like she said, I had been to hell and back a couple of times in some relationships. And going back to what she said about divorce being no option, that was the first thing I said to her when I asked her to marry me. Before she even answered, I said, before you answer, I need to say this: divorce is not an option. I've done that, been through that. And after my last marriage before her, I promised God and everybody who cared to listen, I would never get married again. And I've said to her, and I still say, I know this was divine appointment, because had it not been her, I truly believe I would still be single today. I had no desire, no intent to ever marry again. But in answer to your question, I had to learn who she was, what she likes, what she doesn't like, what keeps her happy, what makes her angry, and just kind of and it wasn't an easy transition, but I knew one thing. I knew for sure I love this woman, and I was not going to let anything separate us ever. We ain't doing the sleeping on the sofa. If you mad at me, moving to the other room, I ain't doing that. We're not doing that. If we have to sit all night long and talk about it, hash it out, that's what we'll do. Then we'll go to bed, kiss each other good night, get up the next morning, say, hey babe, how you doing this morning? And keep it moving. But like I said, my nature is one of, I'm very quiet by nature. And so, we had to learn how to see each other for who we are, who we were, and make it work for, for us. I knew that, well, one of the things is, like I said, she's very aggressive. And if she says, Lamar, can you do this, this, and that? And I said, okay, babe, I'll do it. Sometimes I wouldn't just go do it right then. Well, that aggravates her. It's like, hey, I asked you to do it. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, baby. I'll take care of it. And eventually I do. But we had to learn, and initially, there would be it would lead to some hollering and screaming, and her hollering.
Let me make that clear.
Did you just throw me out there?
That's not who I am.
Don't y'all believe me.
I'm more of a laid back person. I don't do the yelling and screaming. I'll talk and I'll reason it out. But I had to understand, okay, this is who she is. and this is what she wants. So, you know, I got better. I got better.
So let me ask you this, because it sounds like what you're saying is that one of the things you learned as a man and concerning your wife, that it was not your place or your job to try to change her.
Right.
Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Right. Exactly. She is who she is. And
Mhm.
and I you know, even me, um, I would say to anybody, no matter where you see me, no matter who you see me with, what time of day or night it is, I'm Lamar. I never change. I'm going to always be who I am. I'm going to always be the same. I'm going to greet you with a smile. Try to, you know, I try never to bring anybody down. I always try to make
Oh,
sure that,
definitely.
you know,
Mhm.
people, my prayer every day is that I live close enough to God that people who don't even know me will see, even if they don't know what it is, they'll see some difference in me. They'll know
Mhm.
that there's something different. And I like to say, you know, that's the God in me. So I try um, to live like that at all times. Um, I'm not that person that I'm going to come off the walls and be angry and all like that, you know. So I just try to, you know, to be me.
Can I share a testimony along the lines that he's talking?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm sis. Now I know we hear God and God speaks to us and whatnot and so forth and
Mm-hmm.
so on. But can I tell you, I had an encounter early in this marriage with God.
Okay, let us hear it.
Like Lamar said, a very aggressive nature. I ain't gonna hurt you. And I
Mm-hmm.
ain't gonna never start a fight, but I wouldn't run from one neither.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the stuff that you all found out in the book that I wrote was largely the motivation behind what my character, my personality was. And so I've been standing on my own for so long, doing
Mm-hmm.
it my way for so long,
Mm-hmm.
in and out of failed relationships, unforgiving, unrelenting. If you hurt me, nigga, bye. That's how I
Understood.
was.
Right. Right.
Right? So when
Mm-hmm.
we ended up getting married, I'm tell you the truth before God. I said, I need to try him now and see if he can hang,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I would say little stuff. And let me tell you something, because I do it by myself. I don't need no man. And Lamar would just smile. And it would irritate me so bad because I'm trying to get him, I'm trying to get him riled, and he just
Uh-huh.
wouldn't do it, sis. You even talking to you?
Yeah.
And he's saying, I hear you. Well, that's all you got to say? Yeah, well, what you want me to say? Never mind, forget it. So one day I had asked him, I said, Lamar, could you tighten up the handle on the doorknob, shake it? He said, okay. A couple of days later, it was still shaking. I said, I thought I asked you 2 days ago to fix that. He said, I'm going to do it. I ain't say nothing. I waited a couple more days. He still hadn't fixed it. I thought you told me you was gonna fit. If this the kind of man you is, I'm gonna tell you right now, this ain't gonna work. Cause that ain't who I am. I asked you 5 days ago, and you still ain't did it. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I ain't having it. You got to do what you say if you ain't a man of your word. And I was just going off.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
I mean, I lost my complete mind. And when I got through yelling, and Lamar just sitting there, just watching me. And you ain't got nothing to say? What you want me to say? I told you I'm gonna fix it, and I'm gonna fix it. Well, you know what? Don't worry about it. Don't worry. And I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm gonna be transparent with y'all. I said, that's okay, because I can have another man in here fixing it tomorrow.
Uh.
So, oh, I see how you do. Oh, this ain't gonna work. I went to the bathroom and I was standing in the sink washing my hands. And when I lifted my head up and caught my face in the mirror,
Uh-huh.
God said to me, don't you dare ever speak to him like that. He
Wow.
is a high priest of this house. He is your head and your covering. You've been crying for years. You want to know what real love feel like? I done sent you somebody.
My
And you
God.
go back in there and you apologize. I think we have
Apologize.
been married about a year or so. But yeah, but Lord, no,
Mhm.
We're going to deal with you. Don't tell me nothing about him.
Mhm.
I washed my face. I came out of that bathroom. Lamar was still sitting in that living room, just as calm as a cucumber. I said, I was choking on that. I'm sorry. Lamar, I need to tell you something. He said, baby, what's the matter? Now, I just reamed this man out. And this guy said, baby, what's the matter?
What's the matter?
I said, I just got a pow-pow in the bathroom from God. He said, what? A pow-pow? I said, yeah. He told me I'll never speak to you like that again. I'm so sorry. I'll never do it. I promise to God. From that day, and you know what Lamar told me? He said, I know what you're trying to do, and it ain't gonna work.
Mhm.
You trying to run me off.
Mhm.
You don't think I'm gonna stay. So you're just trying to get ahead of the game. But he said, Regina, you my wife. I love you. I've always loved you. And God done saw fit to put us together. I ain't going nowhere. So you might as well settle down. That day changed my whole outlook.
Praise God.
Relationship. And God let me know, you want to know what it looks like when that scripture say a man should love his wife like Christ loved the church. There it is right there.
Wow.
There it is right there. Accept who he is. Settle yourself down.
Mhm.
Submit. Me.
There's that word. There's that word.
I did have another question for Mr. Hodges, but let's put a pin right there because we was out this afternoon and that word came up in the conversation that we had with another couple and about the word submit. Will you in your own way, in your own words, explain to the listening audience, the ladies that's out there married, how do you define that word submit?
Lamar and I talked about this because we had to talk about it because now God had my attention because he loves me, right?
Mhm.
And so biblically, growing up in church, we always heard that from the mothers, wives, submit to your husbands.
Mhm.
And the way they taught it to us was to submit to his authority, submit sexually, so whatever he say, you can't make no moves without asking. But for us, when we went to God with God, what does that mean? We found that other scripture, I believe it's over in either First or Second Peter, that says, "See that you submit yourselves one to another."
One to another. Mm-hmm. There you go.
One to another. And I was like, okay, so now my understanding was and still is today the order of God. And I think this is where Christian wives may have issue.
Come on, teach.
We got to understand the order of God. What is his order? God's order is God.
Mhm.
You got a husband right there.
Mhm.
Wife,
Mhm.
children.
Children.
That's God's order.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that we are subservient.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't mean that I'm his slave.
Mhm.
That's not what it means.
Come
The
on.
same way we have to submit to God's authority, God has placed him as a high priest of the house.
Yes.
And I don't have a problem. Women's live, whatever people want to say, hey, whatever you do, that's you. I'm talking about what works for us. 20 years it has worked for us. I don't mind coming under his authority
Mhm.
because he has a heart after God. And he is for my good. He's not trying to harm me. He's not trying to hurt me. He's not trying to rule over me. It's his job to protect me. It's his job to cover me physically
Mhm.
and spiritually
Mhm.
and mentally. This man, somebody told me one time, they called me up and they said, man, listen, I don't know what y'all got going on over there, But I heard Mr. Hodges pray for you one day. I ain't never heard a man pray like that for his wife. And he prays for me like that every day. So I don't have a problem with it because God, what has God called me to do as a wife? He didn't call me to be in a place of authority. He called me to be his helpmate.
Yes.
I got to stay clear because he's going to miss some stuff. And so God going to let me see it because I'm his helper. But if I'm always out of pocket, if I'm always, you don't tell me what to do, I'm grown just like you grown. I make my own money. I ain't got to ask you nothing. This is where the enemy has won the battle in marriages because everybody just feel like I'm grown and you can't tell me nothing. But the Bible told me it's okay to submit to him. And sir, it's okay for you. And Abraham and Sarah, y'all know the story. Sarah go and say, hey, go on and sleep with her. It's okay. Maybe that's where the baby gonna come from because, I'm old. Can't have no baby. So Abraham said, okay. Sounds like a good deal to Abraham. Abraham go, oh, okay, then you give me permission. Now Sarah mad.
Come on.
You done put the thought in the man's head. You done gave him the green light. You done told him it was okay. You was totally out of order. And now you mad. Because he took you up on it and now the baby here and now she's Hagar making you feel less of a woman because she parading this child around. You got in there. So I had to learn that my submission to him did not mean he's subservient over me. He's my master. He's my Lord. It doesn't mean that. That's why he came back and said, see that you submit yourselves one to the other. Now, with Sarah, went to Abraham and said, you got to send her away from here. You got to send her away from here. What did God say to Abraham? Hearken to the voice of your wife. It's okay to listen to her this time. You shouldn't have listened to her the last time, but do what she say. Because it was causing a problem.
Well, I believe then, listen to what you're saying, your explanation of the word submit. Basically, what you're saying is, and to the wives out there, how you define the word submit means in this case, in this air place, that you're to give reverence to him.
Reverend. Respect.
As the head.
And he's my covering. And you know what? Just like God gave me that pow in that bathroom, God was not pleased with my behavior. Ladies, God ain't pleased with. Okay, you can say what you want to. You can do what you want to. You grown. This is true. And God has given all of us free will. We can do whatever we want whenever we want to. But I'm telling you something. When you come against the order of God, which that's what I was doing, to the point that I said, I have another man come in and fix it. You ain't got to worry about it. When you come home tomorrow, it'll be fixed. Don't worry about it. That was what? And so God was like, okay, let me stop her right now. Because see, she finna get way out of pocket. And so I got called on the carpet by God. Don't get called on the carpet, ladies. And God had to teach me there, and Lamar tell you right here, my witness. There was I'm better with our finances. I'm better with handling the bills. I do all of that. And when we first got married, I was like, babe, don't use the ATM card because the account is low. You're going to bounce the account. And he will bounce the account because he will forget. He at work and he wants some lunch and he swipe the card. I get a ding to the phone. Oh my God, oh my God. And it was driving me crazy. And I was saying, Lord, you got to da-da-da-da-da. And you got to do something with him. God, it don't make no sense. Da-da-da-da. And you know what God told me? That's not his strong suit. But it's your strong suit.
Teach us. So
do what you do. Stay on top of it. Make sure he got what he needs.
Correct.
And God had to let me know he's not doing this stuff to you to hurt you. It's not a deliberate act to cause you any harm. He's innocent. So I'm gonna deal with you. I'm not even gonna say nothing to this brother. Let me tell you, you are good at this, and he's not. So you got a different mindset. It took me a while to release that thing. And Lamar tell you, boy, for the first 2 or 3 years, I have even taken his ATM cards and hid them from him.
But let me ask this.
He came to work and can't buy no lunch, sis. He called me, hey, did you take my cards? I sure sure did. Because you open that account.
Let me ask you something, back to you, Miss
Mr.
Lamar.
Hodges.
At what place? I guess this question to both of you, but I'm gonna direct it toward you. At what place at what time in your marriage did you learn that you had to be who you are for Miss Regina in order for this marriage to last 20 years?
I would say probably within, I would say, the first 3 to 4 years, I started to come to the realization that, okay, she is who she is. And just like I was saying before, I wasn't willing to change because I'm just Lamar. And I had to understand, okay,
I don't mean to cut your thought. Hold it right there because you just said something very key. You didn't mind changing because just you changing to adapt to your wife was not going to change who you were
right,
as a man.
right,
That's what you're saying.
exactly.
That's powerful, bro.
Wow.
That's powerful.
I heard somebody, and we're going to go back to that submit thing. Like I said, God said, submit you one to another. And, you hear a lot of men who, like she said, she hid my ATM cards. Well, and also, she would fuss at me because, I would swipe the card and not check the account to see if there was money there. Well, obviously, if the account got bounced, then obviously that's a problem. So I had to understand, like she said, she's trying to help us. She's trying to keep us from being under the bridge. So, okay, I gotta do better. But at the same time, a lot of men who, I'll say, like, she would, do that, and I wouldn't have money in my pocket because I never carry cash. I use my ATM cards for practically everything. Um, but a lot of men would consider that as being henpecked. That's the word that a lot of people use. But then I heard in a sermon, Pastor Jasper Williams Jr., of Salem Baptist Church in Atlanta, I heard him say one time, ain't nothing wrong with being henpecked, as long as you're being pecked by your own hen.
Oh, all right.
So I always,
Oh, Jesus.
I never considered myself being henpecked. I know who my wife is, and I know she loves me. I know she loves our family, and she wants things to be right for us. And there was a time when our finances were in the toilet, literally. We lost our home. We actually had to move in with other people.
Yeah.
I mean, we were homeless, but we were not on the street. And I have to say this because she told me one time right after we got married, she said, Lamar, I just need you to know something. I love you. And I love you so much that I would even sleep on the street in a cardboard box.
Don't make me cry.
As long as I know you're there. So when we got to the point that we lost our home and had to move in with other people, I reminded her, I said, baby, you told me you would sleep on the street in a cardboard box with me. I said, almost did. I said, not intentionally, but thank you. And she didn't judge me. She didn't, the circumstances where I lost a job and she lost a job and things just went awry. But she didn't judge me and put me down. And she did ask me a couple of times, baby, what we gonna do? And I would always say, we're gonna do what we always do. Trust God. That's all I know to do. And he worked it out. So
now today you're homeowners.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again.
Absolutely. And I can even offer this because of her diligence with our finances. We've paid off some credit cards. We've paid off her car. My car is almost paid off. Our credit rating went from, I think at one time it was something like a 400, something like that. Now our credit rating on both of us is up near the 800s. You know, we can go anywhere. And matter of fact, we went to the bank and they love it when I come in there. They're, man, Mr. Hodges, you want to get a loan? You know, your credit's really good. That's her. That's her. I don't even take credit for that. That's her. Well,
Right.
I take some
That's
credit
awesome.
because now I've learned to be a little bit more diligent. And when she says, hey, babe, you know, do this, do that. And, you know, the bank account is here and it's there. You know, okay, babe. You know, so
And it don't take nothing from his manhood to hear me on that.
It doesn't. Nothing.
It don't make him feel less of a man. Man, it don't make you feel less of a man, especially if you know her heart.
Yeah.
Her heart is to have her the Bible says a wise woman buildeth her house.
That's it.
But a foolish woman will tear it down with her
down.
own hands.
Mhm.
So if you can trust her heart, trust her. Especially if she loves God. I trust when God let me understand and know that I could put my heart in his hands. It took a minute. It took me a minute. I had to push some envelopes. I pushed some buttons. I wanted to see if this guy was going to stay. Because I know I could be a piece of work. I tell Mr. Lionel all the time, I'm your sister from another mother, but I'm that sister. Right? And so I needed to know that he could hang. And so I would push and push and push. And that day he told me, I know what you're trying to do, and it ain't going to work. It ain't going nowhere.
Wow. Wow.
And
Well-
I knew in that moment that I could trust my life in his hands.
Well, we gotta.
Okay, so would you mind sharing, either one of you or both of you, what's your love language?
We got a few minutes left.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I just turned 67, and Lamar turned 68 in December. We are at the phase of our lives that we just enjoy being together.
Yes.
That's awesome.
It don't have to be nothing special.
Uh-huh.
We don't need a whole bunch of nothing. And we love Westerns, and I'm a football fanatic. When I moved in this
Alright.
townhouse, I had to let my neighbor know, if you hear any yelling, screaming, he is not being me, sir. That's me over there. So we enjoy each other's company. Sometimes he sleep while we watching TV. We sitting in the double recliner. He done fell over. I grab his hand. Long as you right here sleep, I'm good.
Uh-huh.
I wake him up, babe. You need to go to bed. He go, okay. But he's there, just his presence. People tease me all the time. Well, I don't hardly ever see you without him. That's on purpose.
Wow. Wow.
I enjoy his company.
And we enjoy each other.
I enjoy this man's company. When he's not at home, I be like, where you coming home? You're on your way home. And people think that is so unusual for a couple to be that way.
Yes.
And it's because his heart is so, I like talking. I think I like him as much as I love him. I think that's the key. I like this guy. Y'all hear me say that a lot. This is my dude. I like this guy. And I think he likes me.
I do.
I think he likes me.
Hey, Mr. Hodges, what about you, man? What's your
going back to that that submission thing? I'll say, I don't know if every man does this, but when I'm leaving work every day, I call. Hey, babe, I'm on the way home.
Every day.
Do you need me to stop anywhere? You need to pick up anything from the store? Whatever. Because I don't like her having to go at the world. I don't like saying this because I know God created a wonderful world. He said everything he created was good and very good.
Mm-hmm.
But the heart of man, has made things not so good. So I don't like her being out by herself,
right?
Going out. So
Too much.
I don't mind going to the grocery store. I don't mind stopping on my way home, picking up food if she decides she don't want to cook. I don't mind that. I would prefer that. Or if we're going to do that, I come home and say, let's go out, and we're going out together. I don't like having her go out by herself.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's, if somebody chooses to think that that's being henpecked, fine. This is my hand. So,
I got to be a hen, baby.
So, it's okay for me to be henpecked. You know, like that's what you said. It's okay as long as you're being pecked by your own men. So, you know.
You know what?
You guys, this is the truth.
Mhm.
I don't know where I would be if God had not, in his divine wisdom, sent this fresher breath air when he sent it.
Right.
He was preparing me during that time I was single to settle myself, settle my heart. You want somebody, but you won't let nobody stay. You unforgiving. They get one chance to mess up and they out. They do something you don't like, they come home to an echo. I done left a lot of guys with an echo. Me and my sister, God rest her soul, there's a joke about town that nobody could empty a house quicker than me and my sister could.
Wow.
8:00, I have a sale on the yard. By 8:30, everything gone. I'm out. You come home to hello. And I did that a few times. You know? But when God placed him, he was like, we're going to do something different, darling. We're going to do something different, baby. You done been through enough. You need to know what real love is.
Right.
That had been my prayer all my life with the stuff with my parents and my mom and all that disconnect I had experienced as a kid and a young woman growing up. So by the time Lamar came along, I was in a better position. God had helped me prepare his wife in particular. Because he already knew what Lamar was going to bring. But he knew what I was going to bring to Lamar. So he was like, I'm not going to put the brother through that. So look, come here. And he comes from such a kind background. His father, his mother, his siblings, all of them. This nature you see, all of them got the same nature.
Wow.
Well, hey, listen, man, this was such a beautiful time and moment to spend with you all.
Yes, it was.
Thank you.
You know, we have like, I don't know, maybe like 20 or so questions that, you know, random questions that we have to ask. And I can tell you, you all answered a lot of the questions without us even asking them.
Correct.
And, you know, one of the questions that, because you kind of alluded to it some, Mr. Hodges, and I definitely wanted to, it was a question I was going to oppose to you, give to you, Miss Regina, was that about the henpeck part. You know, how do you define that as far as Mr. Hodges? Because people would look at him and feel that he's definitely that way, but I know him to be a man's man, you know, and it's simply because of the way that he carries himself and how he understands who his wife is. And I think that's so key that that you have taken the time to learn that about each other and not be afraid that you will lose your identity or stop being who you are just because you need to change or adapt yourself for the other person. Because one of the things that I often say that is a lot more easier for you to change than it is to ask your spouse to change.
Right.
You know, and it's the same here. That's why I love my wife. My wife allowed me to be who I am, and I allow her to be who she is. You know, it's just kind of like an opposite attract right here. You know, because she's kind of like the laid back one, the one in the background or what have you, and I'm the out front one. But listen, I will not be where I am at without my wife, and I'm not ashamed of that. You know, and I'm grateful to God for Him blessing somebody to be in my life, such as her.
Absolutely.
You know, but it's in the part even about working. Understand working. You know, marriage is work. Marriage is work. It's no question about it. You know, so
and you got to love each other enough, care for one another enough. Because I tell young people when they get married, this thing goes through phases. And that first phase, that honeymoon, you hang up, no, you hang up, no, you hang up, no, you hang up. Okay, on 3, you hang up. You know, we all the butterflies and all that stuff. We do that stuff. Okay, that's okay. Then you get married and the honeymoon, and that's okay, and all that was great. Now you coming home after the honeymoon. Now guess what? Y'all done had the wedding, but now the marriage begins.
Marriage begins. That's it.
That is it. Begins. And so now you got to take care. You got to nurture it. You can't just throw it away in the toilet at the first sign of you know, love each other enough to at least be able to sit down. And I'm telling you, God is the center of our life.
Absolutely.
Yes, he is.
And if it had not been for the fact that we submit to God first, before I can submit to him, I got to submit to God.
Correct.
Mhm. Yeah.
If I hadn't had the mindset to do that, we would not have made it this long. Because I was broken and damaged and all that, and God had been trying to heal me all those years, and I was coming through the healing when Lamar came along.
Right.
I wasn't as bad as I was. If we had got married, and we know this, we say this all the time. If we had got married out of high school, we'd be divorced.
I think a lot of us can pretty much say that. But again, we up against the clock right now.
Okay.
And
okay.
again, thank you all so much. Listen, you all said a mouthful. Had a mouthful.
So much.
Thank you.
A lot of great nuggets.
Yes,
Yay,
very much so.
Yay.
So hey, we'll be talking and
We'll do it again.
Yes.
Appreciate you.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, that was so good. Hey, thank you all. Certainly appreciate all of you, the viewers that are watching.
And those that are going to watch the replay.
Yeah, absolutely. And next week we'll be back next week with the oranges. They'll be our guest. Same time, same that channel.
YouTube channel.
YouTube channel. And hey, that was great, man. They share some good stuff, man.
I love what they said about they had to learn each other.
And
that's what a lot of couples don't do.
They don't do.
They don't take time out to learn one another.
Yeah.
And to learn how to communicate with each other.
That's true. Yeah, what they'll do, they'll get married, exchange vows and rings, and then they want to put the marriage on autopilot.
Right.
And think there's going to be, happily ever after, and it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work that way.
And that's when the work really begins.
Marriage is work.
You got any final words you want to say, sweetie?
That's all I wanted to say.
Hey,
marriage
listen.
is work.
It was awesome. Again, I'm excited doing this.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, man. And I think I'm just praying to God that this is really helpful for a lot of couples out there, even the future wives, future husbands. But hey, man, this was awesome. We want to thank the Hodges again for being our guest. And hey, love you all. We'll see you next week. Thank you for watching The Father's Note.
Good night.